Welcome back to Investor Intel. Coronavirus has two R's in it, but today we're going to be talking about the triple R deposit owned by Fission Uranium. Here to educate us, Dev Randhawa, one of the legends of the uranium industry.
Well, thanks for having me, Peter. It's always a pleasure to talk about triple R and what an amazing job our team has done technically. But unfortunately, people have always been very focused on spot price, and that's the biggest change between you and I chatting in March.
Right. So you and I chatted in early March at the Mining Show, which seems like a lifetime ago. Yes. And you said this was going to be the year for uranium. And boy, have you been right.
Well, it's math, but unfortunately, there's a math side to our business, but there's also seems to be kick the can down the road, that we've got from utilities. What the virus has done. And in some ways, you feel like, you feel bad. You're the backup quarterback, and the guy breaks his leg. Now you get your chance, and you win a Super Bowl like Kurt Warner did. So you don't want to try to make light of what's happening with the virus. But what it did was, it showed I would argue, a very short-term, and some would say poor strategy of counting on the spot market to provide. That's what I believe the Western utilities.
Right.
That strategy has been exposed. And
we're reliant upon foreign powers as well.
Exactly. You can't, sooner or later, you got to do it yourself. But, when I got in the business, Peter, spot was only like 10, 15% of the market. That's it. People were disciplined, long-term, plan ahead. Then suddenly you've got last year, 50% of the business was virtually, I argue more, because some of the Kazakh contracts are written away. It's really a spot, not really long-term.
Right.
So when you suddenly take off Cigar, cut back Kazakh, it showed how thin the spot market was. And as a result, small change like these stocks have exploded. And also it's kind of odd.
And the spot price for uranium has gone up as well, hasn't it?
Very significantly. We hit 3150. We were only 23, 24 not that long ago. So it's up, 40, 50%.
But that's the spot. What's happening long term?
Yeah, the spot, like I said, they always used to have a spot in the long term, and the long term was always generally higher than the spot. But it was always, people never talk too much about the spot, because chemicals of the world don't trade on spot. They look at long-term contracts, right?
Right.
So, but now Western utilities have been counting heavily now on the spot price, and suddenly that product sitting in the market's gone. So now what do they do?
What are we looking at on the supply side?
Well, from what I understand, is about 54% of the monthly supply has been, taken out, whether it's 14 million here, 18 million here, Kazakhs, I don't know, whatever numbers they have. But the bottom line is, I think the number is roughly 54% of the spot price has been removed. So what have you got? You got a 50% increase in the price of uranium, roughly, right? So,
right. So then how does the triple R deposit fit into that broader macro picture?
Well, I think when the Chinese invested us, they always looked at it out in the middle of the 220, 24, 25. So for us, really, it's access to capital. Since we've talked, we were able to secure about $14 million credit facility from Sprott. And that was very important, because it gave us three more years of run. We have 4 or 5 years to pay it back. So that really helped. And I always believed if we would do that, we would be better positioned to get equity. And that's what we're seeing the last couple of days. We've seen some good interest from brokerage firms saying, hey, it looks like uranium, trade is on, and money is very, sadly today, it moves like from here to there and there. So
money has no conscience.
It goes where it's loved. And unfortunately, is always looking for, that quick return, and from pot to here to there. So if there's such a thing as a winner in this isolation crisis time, it would be gold, obviously, from the printing of money, and then uranium, because it just showed you how thin that market was that these utilities were living on. So,
and obviously fission's price has gone up in correlation with the price of uranium.
Absolutely. We got crushed down with, and then as you know, it's all about computers these days. So when the spot trade, people just hit bids and went all the way down, and we're able to. I think we were closed yesterday at 30 cents, and we were in the 15s not that long ago.
Right.
So it's kind of odd that in a week a stock would double, but I think it just shows you how much volatility there is out there, and we as a company have to manage that, and that's what we're trying to do.
What do we see in the future for the uranium market?
Well, it all depends on how long these mines are shut down. I was hoping to have a chat with a couple industry leaders this morning, but they're tied up on a call. One particular one from Saskatoon, and get their view. But really, it comes down to the longer, for example, Cigar Lake is not online, the longer it takes to bring it back on.
Right. Yeah, you just don't open and close a mine overnight.
Yeah, it's not a coal mine. It's not a coal mine. Pull the canary out and away you go. But so I think that's a very big piece. But it's also a bit of a lesson. Don't you think that if I was running a company and I'm producing uranium, making profits, but my stock's trading at 11.50, and now I've stopped producing and my stock is almost 14, it just tells you how screwed up I think, or weird this industry is. The
junior mining industry generally right now is bizarre.
It is.
You make more money with your pen than you do drilling.
Absolutely. It's sad. And, people say when the drills are going to go, and I'm going, oh, we tried that, for 2 years, putting out results, and nobody cared about our results. I think there's a certain point where people say, hey, you got enough pounds. Triple R ticks the boxes no other deposit does. We're in a great place, Canada. More importantly, we're in Saskatchewan, where they're pro-mining, pro-business. They've had lots of, they've had 60, 70 years of my uranium mining, so it's not my backyard. So we're in the right jurisdiction. And it's the only shallow deposit, 50 meters from surface, that's high grade, over 100 million pounds. So it ticks all the boxes. And now that the risk of funding is out of the way, it puts us in that's why I think the stock has performed well, is that we have de-risked, given ourselves a bit of a runway going ahead.
Whenever I have a uranium question, you're the guy I turn to, whether it's here, on social media, privately, by email. Yeah. I thank you for all the time that you take to educate schlubs like me.
I'm not, I still, when I talk to, really smart guys, Tim Getzels, people like that, you really find out what you don't know. But at the end of the day, this industry, we need energy. It's not something we need, but I believe uranium is a big part to have that clean energy available. It's the only energy with base load and green, not leaving a footprint. So, I think it has to be part of if we want a cleaner energy source, it has to be a part of it. So for me, it's more than just, a business. I think it's a true answer. It's funny how well, people always talk about Sweden, but one thing is they get their power from there. France gets their power. They need growth, but they need growth.
Well, I thank you for your time today, just like all the time you take online to help me. And we'll check in again in a couple of months. We'll see how things are then.
Might be a week. Who knows? I think I think this last week was the longest year I've had. Yeah, it is. It's just bizarre times. Stocks are doubling, people are raising money, and virtually nothing happened the last 2-3 years. So we've had more activity in the last month in the uranium industry, I would say, in the last 4 years almost. If you take 232 out, which was like a Seinfeld show about nothing, you take that event out, it's been very boring. Now suddenly we've seen some excitement, so it's a good time to wake up and see what's going on. Because if these closures continue, the uranium price will go up. The penny I'm waiting to drop is Olympic Dam. They're about 500 kilometers from the Adelaide airport, and if that ever shuts down, because Olympic Dam, their uranium is all byproduct. They don't care what it costs to get. They just dump it on the spot price. They have no conscience about it. So, and that's one of the reasons I think the spot price hasn't done well. So those kinds of things happen. We could be having another chat in a week.
Well, maybe we should plan on that rather than a couple of months. You're the expert.
Happy to. Okay.
Have a great day.
Thank
Stay
you,
safe.
Thank you.